Hi, today we'll be taking a look at 3 entry-level smartphones that honestly might just be the best entry-level smartphone options available in these parts. I'm talking about the Samsung Galaxy A11, the Infinix Hot 9, and the Tecno Spark 5. In this video, I'll be concentrating on the camera results, build quality, price, and performance is going to involve app opening speeds. These phones have very similar price range, but how do they compare? Before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to kick off this comparison starting with the build quality across the 3 devices. As you can see here, all 3 devices have very similar design languages. They're made of plastic on the back, they have their branding at the back. They have the fingerprint sensor in the same place, just differentiated by the shapes. This is a squircle, this is an oval, and that's a circle. And then we have the camera modules for each of the phones. For the Infinix and Tecno, we have 4 cameras in back, and for the Samsung, we have 3 cameras. They all have LED flashlights to the side of their camera modules as well. Now, flipping over to the front of the displays, you can see that they all sport very similar design languages here. They all have their punch hole cameras to the top left corner, with the Samsung's camera being the tiniest hole of the bunch. Well, I pretty much like the way these phones look. Their displays are pretty much very similar. You'll be seeing the sizes of the display on your screen right now. And that's it for build quality. All the phones here feel very sturdy. They're all made from plastic. There is no creaking. And in terms of their weight, they all have very similar weight points. So let's move on to the next section, which is spec comparison. Now, all the devices have exactly the same resolution with their front-facing camera. The Samsung Galaxy A11, however, behind has a 13 megapixel main wide angle, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. The Infinix, on the other hand, has a 13 megapixel wide angle main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a QVGA low light sensing camera. While the Tecno as well comes with a 13 megapixel main, a 2 megapixel macro, a 2 megapixel depth sensing, and a QVGA low light sensing camera. So they're pretty much very similar when it comes to the camera resolution and technology that they all come with. For the OS, all the phones run on Android 10. We got One UI 2.1 on the Samsung, we've got XOS 6.0 on the Infinix, and we've got iOS 6.1 on the Tecno. We've got a MediaTek Helio A22 on the Tecno, a MediaTek Helio A25 on the Infinix, and we've got a Snapdragon chip on the Samsung. So you have very similar phones here. It's a 4000 mAh battery on the Samsung, it's a 5000 mAh battery on the Infinix and the Tecno phones. So let's move on to the camera performance between these 3 phones, and I'll be only comparing the pictures that I took with the main cameras at the rear of all these devices. They are all 13 megapixel, but let's see how they compare to each other. 1, 2. So taking a look at screen tests, I just wanted to see which of the screens on these phones is the best. As you can see here, they're all at 50% brightness. There's no auto brightness turned on. And straight up, you can tell that the Samsung screen looks the brightest out of these 3. And then the text on the Samsung screen also looks the crispest. Anyway, the text on the Samsung screen looks very crisp, more crisp than what you have on the Tecno and Infinix. So overall, for screen look and clarity, I would give that to the Samsung. It's a TFT PLS panel, and it's pretty very good. Color accuracy on the screen is actually very good as well. So taking a look at videos again, you can see from the video right now that the Samsung screen at the bottom is the brightest. We have the Infinix screen in the middle and we have the Tecno screen at the top. The Infinix and Tecno screens are very similar, and that's because they use IPS LCD panels, while the Samsung uses a TFT screen. And again, you can see that the color accuracy on the Samsung is just much better. My camera may not be translating this properly, and you may not be able to see this through the lens of a camera, but physically here you'd prefer the image from the Samsung screen. That's not to say that the image from the Infinix and Tecno are not equally as good. They're very sharp images and they're very good looking as well, but overall the color calibration from the Samsung just looks much better. Just so we're playing on a regular playing field, I'm going to be switching the lens on my camera right now to a regular lens that can capture more light, so you can see the differences between the screen. So it's not like I'm preferring one screen over the others. So I just switched out the lenses again, and you can see that thing I was talking about. The screen on the Samsung here is much brighter than what we have on the Tecno and on the Infinix rather, and the Tecno. And as you can see, the Infinix and the Tecno have much warmer tones. In fact, these, in my opinion, are the exact same panel. They're using the exact same panel. They look absolutely identical. I can't see any difference between these two. But the Samsung, on the other hand, is using a TFT panel, and that's why it's a little bit much brighter than these two. And again, the Samsung color here, looking at it directly in person, looks more natural than what the Infinix and the Tecno are doing. But again, a screen and its color calibration is subjective to each individual. Each individual has a color tone they like. Some people prefer the warmer colors that the Infinix and the Tecno present here, while some people would go for what the Samsung has to offer. But all three phones are 720p display panels, and they look decent. Okay guys, now it's time for some app opening speed tests. Here we have the A11, this is the Hot 9, and this is the Spark 5. I've set the same apps across all phones, and as you can see, I've cleared all apps from memory on all the phones. So we're on a level playing field here, and let's get started on the app opening times. I'm going to start with the phone dialer. So we're in memory management, and as you can see, the Infinix and the Tecno have closed the phone dialer, and it's only the Samsung that has the phone dialer open. So that's 1 point for Samsung. Again, only Samsung has messages opened. Another point. Only Samsung has Google open. Another point. Only Samsung has the camera open. Another point. Only Samsung has Gmail open. That's another point. Only Samsung has YouTube open. That's another point. Make sure I'm not making any mistakes. Only Samsung has podcast open. Wow, so Samsung is really crushing it on memory management here, and it has about 6 apps open still in memory that the Infinix and the Tecno did not have in memory. So from the speed test and memory management, it's quite interesting to see that Samsung keeps the earlier apps that were opened in memory while Infinix truncates them and instead keeps the latter apps that were opened in memory. So that's an interesting take. 2 ways of doing things by 2 different manufacturers. So I'm going to be trying out the fingerprint unlock speeds between the Infinix and the Tecno. Similar. So there, I tried it 4 times and the Tecno seemed just a tiny bit faster than the Infinix. Now we're going to try the Tecno and the Samsung Galaxy A11, and here we go. From the lock screen, so the Tecno and the Samsung have basically the same speeds, but all 3 devices seem to have very similar unlock speeds in terms of their fingerprint scanners. So guys, that was it. That was a quick comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A11, the Infinix Hot 9 and the Tecno Spark 5. 3 entry-level devices here, and I think these are some of the cheapest phones you can get in the market for the kind of specs that they offer. They're all decent smartphones. They perform decently, as you could see in the comparison, but I'm really shocked at how all of them handled memory management. Again, the camera samples from these devices were decent at best, with the Samsung having the best bokeh effect out of the 3, but again, color representation from these 3 cameras is subjective. It is an individual preference how you like the color of a picture to look, so I'm not gonna say one phone or the other is the winner. These phones all performed as good as they could, and they're really decent for the price you'll be paying for them. Guys, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope it helps you make a good purchase decision. If you have any questions about these devices, leave them in the comment section of this video. Hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Do it now. My giveaway on the Infinix Hot 9 is still on until the 31st of August, so use the link in the video description to enter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.